Have you guys ever seen a bear that just woke up from hibernation? They're really hungry. So today, we are going to read the story called Bear Wants More. And when we are reading this story, we are going to ask questions to help us summarize what we have just read. A summary is a short recount of what you have just read. When you get ready to summarize, you think about all the important events in this story that you want to tell about. Your summary should have enough information so if someone hasn't read the story before, it would make sense to them. When we summarize, we explain how one event led to another. You'll first think about the most important things that happened in the story. By doing this, you'll connect the problem in the story. Then, you will tell the most important events in the middle of the story and in the end of the story. Then you think about the story as a whole. Let's start reading, and remember to think about what happens first in the story, what happens in the middle of the story, and what happens at the end of the story. We're going to put the events in order. Bear Wants More by Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman. When springtime comes in his warm winter den, a bear wakes up very hungry and thin. What's the very first thing that happens in this story? That's right, Bear wakes up and he's very hungry and thin. Let's find out what happens next. He waddles outside and roots all around. He digs and he paws fresh shoots from the ground. He nibbles on his lawn till the last blade is gone, but the bear wants more. What happens after Bear wakes up? That's right, Bear eats grass. What do you think the problem of the story is going to be? I think the problem is going to be that Bear is really hungry and he just wants to eat lots of food. Mouse scampers by with his acorn pail. Come along, squeaks Mouse, to Strawberry Vale. So up Mouse hops onto Big Bear's back. They tromp through the woods for a fresh fruit snack. The berries grow sweet and they eat. But the bear wants more. How do we know that Bear wants to eat more food after he eats the strawberries with Mouse? That's right. The text says that the bear, wants more. Noon sun glows when along hops Hare. Good day, friend Mouse. How do you do, friend Bear? I'm hungry, roars Bear. Hare says, follow me. There's a fresh clover patch by the cottonwood tree. They nibble on their lunch with a crunch, crunch, crunch. But the bear wants more. What has Bear eaten so far in this story after he wakes up? He first eats grass, and then he eats strawberries, and then he eats clovers with Hare. But he still wants more. Let's find out what he eats next. Badger shuffles by with his new fishing pole. There's a fine fish feast at the old fishing hole. They head to the pond and they sit by the shore. Bear catches fish, but he still wants more. Remember, a summary is a short recount of what we have just read. When we get done reading this book, we'll summarize the story. Your summary should have enough information so if someone hasn't read this story before, it would still make sense to them. Bear's still hungry. Let's find out what happens next. Meanwhile, back at Gopher's den wait Gopher and Mole with Raven and Wren. They bake honey cakes, they decorate the lair. It's a springtime party for their good friend Bear. Bear rubs his tummy, he smells something yummy. And he still wants more. Do you remember what Bear has eaten so far? Let's recount and see what we remember. I remember the first thing in the story that Bear does is wake up, and then he eats grass, and then he eats strawberries, and then he eats clovers with hair, and finally he eats fish with Badger. Let's turn the page and find out what happens next. Bear sniffs and he snuffles, a sweet breeze blows, he romps to his home, he follows his nose. His friends yell surprise when he gets to his den, but Bear is so big. What do you think will happen to Bear? I think that he might get stuck. Let's turn the page and find out. That he can't fit in, Bear wails. What luck, I'm stuck in my own front door. I wonder what happens next. Mouse squeaks, poor Bear. He's wedged too tight. Hair tugs, Raven pushes with all their might. Badger gets a stick and he pries so hard that Bear pops out and he lands in his yard. Since Bear is so wide, they party outside and he still wants more. Bear opens presents, he gobbles honey cakes, he eats so much that his big tummy aches. What happens after Bear eats all this food? That's right, he gets a tummy ache. He snuggles in the grass and he snores, big snores. He's full, but his friends want more. The end. Now that we've read the story Bear Wants More, we're going to summarize what we have just read. Remember, a summary is a short recount of what we have just read. When we are ready to summarize, you think of all the important events in the story. Your summary should have enough information so if someone hasn't read the story before, it would make sense to them. When we summarize, we explain how one event led to another. You'll think about all the most important things that happened in the story. By doing this, you're connecting the problem to the story. And in this case, Bear's problem was that he wanted to eat lots of food. Remember, it's important to tell all the parts of the story in order. To summarize the story Bear Wants More, we will be using this story sequence sheet. Once we have the story sequence sheet, we'll grab our pictures that we have of all the things that happen in the story. We're going to cut out the pictures and put them in order of the events that happened in the story Bear Wants More. I know that the first thing Bear does in the story is wakes up. So I'm going to cut this picture out and glue it into the first box. I just cut out this picture of Bear waking up because I know that's the first thing that happens in the story. Once I have it cut out, I'm going to glue it to my story sequence sheet. I'm going to find the first box and place the picture of Bear waking up on it. Let's find out what the second thing that Bear did. Let's look at our sheet. What did Bear do secondly in the story? Did he eat berries with Mouse? Did he eat fish with Badger? Did he eat honey cakes with his friends? Did he get stuck in his den and his friends had to push him out? Did Bear eat grass? Did Bear and Hare eat clovers? Or did Bear have a tummy ache? Let's think about this. Remember that Bear first woke up and then he ate grass. I'm going to cut out this picture of Bear eating grass and then place it in the second box on our story sequence. Now that I have my picture cut out, I'm going to glue it onto my story sequence. I'm going to find the second box. Oh, it's right here. So we know that the first thing Bear did was he woke up and then he ate grass. What's the next thing he did? Did Bear and Mouse go eat berries? Did he eat fish with Badger? Did he eat honey cakes with his friends? Did Bear get stuck and his friends had to push him out? Did Bear and Hare eat clovers together? Did Bear have a tummy ache and needed to take a nap? What's the third thing in the story that Bear did? That's right. Bear and Mouse went to go eat berries. So I'm going to cut out this picture. Now that I'm done gluing, I'm going to place it in the third box. First, Bear wakes up. Then he eats grass. And then Bear and Mouse eat berries. What happens next? Did Bear eat fish with Badger? Did Bear eat honey cakes with his friends? Did Bear get stuck? Did Bear and Hare eat clovers? Or did his tummy ache and he needed to take a nap? What's the next thing after Bear and Mouse eat berries? That's right. Bear and Hare eat clovers. Let's cut this out and glue it onto our story sequence. Now that I'm done gluing, I'm going to place it on my story sequence. So we know that first Bear woke up, then Bear ate grass, and then Bear and Mouse eat berries. Next, Bear and Hare eat clovers, so I'm going to place that on the next box. I wonder what happens next in the story. Did Bear eat fish with Badger? Did Bear eat honey cakes with his friends? Did Bear get stuck and his friends needed to push him out? Or did Bear have a tummy ache and needed to take a nap? I wonder what happens next after Bear and Hare eat clovers. That's right, Bear eats fish with his Badger friend. Let's cut this out and then glue it onto our story sequence. So we know that Bear wakes up first, then he eats grass, and then Bear and Mouse eat berries together. Then Bear and Hare eat clovers. Bear eats fish with Badger. What happens after Bear eats fish with Badger? Does he get stuck in his den and his friends need to push him out? Does Bear eat honey cakes with his friends? Or does Bear have a tummy ache? That's right. Bear gets stuck in his den and his friends need to push him out. Let's cut out this picture and then glue it onto our story sequence. I place it on my story sequence starter in the next spot, right after Bear eats fish with Badger. What happens after Bear gets stuck? That's right. Bear eats honey cakes with his friends. Let's cut out this picture and then glue it onto our story sequence. It looks like the only thing left is that Bear has a tummy ache and he needs to take a nap. I'll place it on our story sequence chart. So I know the first thing Bear does in the story is he wakes up. Then he eats grass. And then he eats berries with Mouse. And then Bear and Hare eat clovers. And then Bear and Badger eat fish. Then Bear gets stuck and his friends push him out. Then Bear eats honey cakes with his friends. After all that food, Bear has a tummy ache and he needs to take a nap. Boys and girls, we just summarized the story, Bear Wants More, by putting all the important events in order. I hope you liked reading Bear Wants More with me.